This is Edexcel's GCSE Mathematics Practice Test Set 2, Paper 1F. Question 1. Change 7,800 grams into kilograms. The first thing we need to know is that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So we need to do 7,800 divided by 1,000, which is 7.8 kilograms. Question 2. Write 0.07 as a percentage. The first 0 is in the units column, the second 0 is in the tenths column, and the 7 is in the hundredths column. So 0.07 means 7 out of 100, and percent also means out of 100, so that means 7%. Question 3. Write 7.8365 correct to 2 decimal places. That means we want 2 numbers after the decimal point, so it's going to be 7.83, or it may round up to 7.84 if it's a 5 or more afterwards, which it is. So the answer will be 7.84. Question 4. Work out minus 5 squared. So that means minus 5 times minus 5. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 5 times 5 is 25. So the answer is positive 25. Question 5. Here is a Venn diagram. Write down all the numbers in set A. So set A is this circle here. So we are after the 6, the 2, the 7, the 3 and the 8 are all inside that circle. So to put those in order, we'd have 2, 3, 6, 7 and 8. It says write down the numbers that are in set A intersection B. So that little N shape means intersection. That is this section here, all the way around here. So we are after the numbers 3 and 8. So the intersection of A and B is a bit where they cross over. Question 6. Here are 4 digits. Use 2 of these digits to make the smallest possible 2-digit number. Well, the smallest number is a 2, so we want that in the tens column, and the next smallest digit is a 3, so we put that in the units column, so 23 is the smallest number. Use 3 of these digits to make a 3-digit number closest to 300. Well, if we went for 300 and something, the closest we could get is 324. If we went for 200 and something, we could get 284 to get as close as we can. Now that's 16 off, and that's 24 off. So the answer is 284 is the closest we can get. Here are 4 different digits. Put 1 digit in each box to make the largest total. You may only use each digit once. Well, the 2 biggest digits, the 7 and the 9, want to be in the tens columns, and the 2 smallest digits, the 5 and the 1, need to be in the units columns. Now, it doesn't matter which way around, because 71 add 95 will give you the same answer. And 75 add 91, 5 add 1 is 6, 9 add 5 is 16, so 166. Question 7. Write down the coordinates of point A. Well, to find a coordinate, we start at the centre and we go across the corridor and up the drive. So we go across to X is 4 and Y is at 2. On the grid, mark with a cross the point -3, 0. So again, we start at the centre, we go along first to -3, and then the 0 means we don't go up and down. So that's where it would be, and we've got to label that the point B. Question 8. Here are some patterns made from squares. The diagram below shows part of pattern number 4. Complete the diagram of pattern number 4. Well, if you notice, we've actually got pattern number 3 there, and in each case, starting with pattern 1, we're adding on these 4 extra squares like that. So we're adding on 4 each time, so we need to add on 4 extra squares on this one to get pattern 4. It says complete the table, so we've just said that we're going add on 4 squares each time. So if we add on 4 to 13, we get 17, add on 4 to that, we get 21. Find the total number of squares in pattern number 10. Well, we can either keep on adding up in 4s until we get to the 10th one, or we can work out use the nth term rule. So if it's going up in 4s each time, that means we're linked to the 4 times tables, so it'll be 4n, and the first number of the 4 times tables is 4, ours is 5, so we need to add 1. And to use the nth term rule, then we just do 4 times 10 is 40, add 1 is 41. Be careful not just to double the 5th number, because that doesn't work, because it's only the first one that has an extra 1 on. Okay? So an extra 5 4s would be 20, which will get us up to 41. Question 9. 2 numbers are added together, so we're after 2 numbers being added together to get an answer of 15, and both of them are factors of 24. What are these 2 numbers? So let's start off by doing the factor 24. So we've got 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6, and then the only number we've got left to check is 5, and 5 doesn't work to 24. So two of those numbers that add up to 15 are 3 and 12. So the answer is 3 and 12. Question 10. Make an accurate drawing of an equilateral triangle of side length 5 centimetres. To do this one, we're going to need a ruler, and we're also going to need a compass. So, here's my ruler. First of all, I'm going to draw a line 5 centimetres long, as accurately as you possibly can to 5 centimetres. So make sure you're really accurate with that. I'm going to put my ruler back on for 5. Then I'm going to take my compass, I'm going to put it at one side, and I'm going to open my compass to 5 centimetres, because we want all 3 sides to be 5 centimetres. I'm going to draw an arc up. I'm then going to take my compass and put it at the other side. I'm going to do this bit upside down, but you can use your compass the right way around, obviously. And then I'm going to draw an arc up there. So the place where I want to draw my, my lines to is from here to here to here. Now, as accurate as possible, use a ruler again for that. These lines are obviously your working out lines, so you don't need to rub those out. All 3 of those lines then should be 5 centimetres. And do the other 2 lines as accurate as possible using a ruler again. Next question, number 11. Here are 3 calculations. Work out which of these calculations has the biggest answer. You must show you're working. So the sum of 14 and 19 means to add 14 and 19 together. So 4 add 9 is 13, 3 and carry 1, and then 1, 1 and 1 is 3. So that would have an answer of 33. The second one says the difference of 57 and 29. So difference means to take away. So 57 take away 29. Well, we can't do 7 take 9, so we have to borrow 1 from here. That becomes a 4, that becomes 17. 17 take away 9 is 8, and 4 take away 2 is 2. So that one would have an answer of 28. And then product means times together. So 9 times 4 equals 36. So the one with the highest answer is 9 and 4. So we need to write a sentence for this because it says which one it is. So we need to actually answer them. Okay. So the product of 9 and 4 has the greatest answer. So always answer in full sentences. Question 12. Here is a bus timetable from Park and Ride car park to a town centre. Sadie gets to the car park at 7:45 and she catches the next bus to the town centre. So she arrives at the car park at 7:45. She catches the next available bus to get to the town centre. What time should the bus get to the town centre? So she gets there at 7:45. She can't catch this one. She must catch that one. And it gets to the town centre at 8 or 12 minutes past 8. So 08:12 or 8:12 a.m. Here's the bus timetable from the town centre back to the car park. How many buses go from the town centre to the car park between 8 and 10? Well, there's one bus at 8:03, 8:35, 9:02, 9:20, so that's 4 buses, then every 15 minutes. So there will then be 9:35, 9:50, and then 10:05 would be the next one. So that one we can't get. So we've got that extra bus in there, which means that we have got 6 buses that we can catch between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Paul wants to leave the town centre at 17:30. He's going to catch a bus to the car park. What is the time of the first bus Paul can catch after 7:30? So we know that there's a bus at 7:20. So to work back in that, 15 minutes goes into an hour. So if we go back 2 hours, we know there must be a bus at 17:20 or 20 past 5. So if we carry on going up in 15 minutes, the next one will be 17:35. So that would be the bus that he can catch. So the answer would be 17:35 or 5:35. Question 13. A charity made an appeal for money. The charity put this information below in a poster. Hunger appeal. £3 will buy 5 meals for 1 person and £100 will buy lunches for 80 school children for 5 days. £3 will buy 5 meals for 1 person. Work out the cost of one of these meals. Give your answer in pence. Well, first of all, £3 is 300 pence. So we want to divide that 300 pence by 5, and I'm going to use the bush shelter method. So how many 3's go into 5? There are none, remainder 3. How many 5's go into 30 is 6, and how many 5's go into 0 is 0. So the answer is 60 pence. £100 will buy lunches for 80 school children for 5 days. Work out the cost of buying lunch for one school child for 1 day. So 80 lots of 5 lunches means that this is going to buy 400 lunches. So we want to do 100, so the £100 divided by these 400 lunches. Now to do that, that is basically, we can divide both by 100, that's 1 divided by 4, and 1 divided by 4, or a pound, divided into 4 equal pieces. Half of a pound is 50p, and half it again is 25p. So 0.25 or 25 pence. Question 14. The full line is 20 centimetres long, and from A to B is 8.6 centimetres. BC, so this distance here, is the same as from C to D, so those two are the same. Work out the length of BC, so we're after this one here. So, if the full line is 20 centimetres, we want to take off that 8.6 centimetres. Now, to do that, we're going to use just no column subtraction, but we can't do 0 take 6. So we're going to borrow one from here, it becomes a 1, and that'll become a 10, and then the 10 will become a 9 if we borrow one off it, and that will become a 10. So 10 take away 6 is 4, 9 take away 8 is 1, and 1 take away 0 is just 1. So there's 11.4 centimetres left between B and D. So that's the distance from B to D. Now we want to half that, so 11.4 divided by 2. Again, we can either use the bush shelter method, or you can just do that in your head. How many 2's go into 1? None, carry a 1. How many 2's in 11 is 5, carry a 1. Don't forget your decimal place. How many 2's in 14 is 7. So the answer would be 5.7 centimetres. Question 15. Mila has a fair 6-sided spinner. The sides of the spinner are numbered 222, 33 and 5. Mila spins the spinner once. Which number is least likely to land on? Well, the one with the least amount of numbers is the number 5. So it's least likely to land on number 5. From the following list, choose the word that best describes the likelihood of landing on a 2. Well, there are 3 2's out of 6 altogether. So that's exactly half the time it's going to land on a 2. So the answer would be evens. Evens means that exactly half the time it will land on that. Write down the probability that the spinner will land on a 3. Well, there are 2 3's out of 6 numbers altogether. And you'll notice here it's worth 2 marks. So that will give you 1 mark, but we should always cancel fractions down if we can. So the answer is 1/3 for the extra mark. Question 16. Tom is going to buy 25 plants to make a hedge. Here is information about the cost of buying the plants. Tom wants to buy 25 plants as cheaply as possible. Should Tom buy the 25 plants from Kirsty's plants or from Hedge World? Show you working out. Well, Kirsty's plants, I'm going to split my page in 2. They are £2.39 each, and we want to buy 25 of those. So I'm going to use column multiplication. So 5 times 9 is 45. I always put my carries there so I can see that my answer was 45. 5 times 3 is 15, add your 4 is 19. So 9 down, carry 1. Don't forget your decimal place. And 5 times 2 is 10, add your 1 is 11. So that's 1195. We then want to multiply 3 by this 2, which actually represents 20. So we're going to put a 0 down first. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 3 is 6, add your 1 is 7. Don't forget your decimal place there. And 2 times 2 is 4, so that's £47.80. Add those two together. 5 add 0 is 5. 9 add 8 is 17, so 7 down, carry 1. 1, 7 and 1 is 9. Don't forget your decimal place there. And 1 add 4 is 5. So it's £59.75 to buy from Kirsty's. And to buy from Hedge World, we've got the price, but we need to add on 20%. So 10%, we just divide by 10. So that'd be £5.25 to divide £52.50 by 10. So 20% would be double that. So double a 5 is a tenner, double 25p is 50p, so that would be £10.50. And then add that onto the original price, so £52.50 plus your VAT at £10.50. Then altogether we have 0, 5 add 5 is 10, carry a 1, 2 add 1 is 3, 5 add 1 is 6. It costs you £63 from Hedge World. Now again, this is one of those questions where it asks you for an answer, so you've got to actually write an answer. So Kirsty's plants are cheaper. Always write in full sentences. Don't just circle up here, write in full sentences. Question 17. You can use this conversion graph to change between pounds and dollars. Use a conversion graph to convert £5 into dollars. So if we go to £5, so pounds is this column here, go to 5, we work our way up and go across, we can see that that's exactly $8. It says Ella has $200 and £800 and her hotel bill is $600. Ella pays the bill with the $200 that she's got and the rest in pounds. Use a conversion graph to work out how many pounds she should have. So, first of all, the $600 bill, if we take the $200 off, that leaves us with $400. So we've got to pay $400. Now, if we use a conversion graph, we can see that $10, if we go across as accurate as you possibly can, is equal to £6.20. So $10 is equal to £6.20. So if we want to have $400, first of all we need to times that by 10, which will be 62, and then times by 4, and 4 lots of 62 is 248. So that will be £248. If we times that by 10 and then by 4, we'll times it by 40. So the answer will be £248 that she needs to pay for the rest of the bill. Now she had £800, so 800 minus the 248, again we'll use column subtraction. We need to borrow one from there, that becomes a 7, and that becomes a 10, that becomes a 9, and that becomes a 10. So 10 take 8 is 2, 9 take 4 is 5, and 7 take 2 is 5. £552 is how much money she'll have left. Question 18. A pack of 9 toilet rolls costs £4.23 and a pack of 4 toilet rolls costs £1.96. Which gives you best value for money? Okay, so again, we're going to have to write a sentence at the end of this. Now, the best way to work this out is to work out the cost of one. So we're going to divide £4.23 by 9. Again, I'm going to use that short division method. There's a lot of short division on the non-calculator paper. So how many 9s go into 4? That's none. Remainder 4. How many 9s go into 42? So 9 4s are 36, so that leaves us 6 left over. And how many 9s go into 63? That's 7. So that means it's 47 pence per roll for the 9 pack. I then want to do the £1.96 divided by 4. So how many 4s go into 1? That's none, carry a 1. How many 4s go into 19? That's 4, remainder 3. And how many 4s go into 36? That's 9. So that's 49p a pack. So the 9 pack is better value for money. Always write in full sentences. You'll notice that the short division method is really, really popular on the non-calculator paper, so make sure you can do that. Question 19. Dylan is driving from London to Newcastle. He will drive a total distance of 240 miles. Dylan leaves London at 9:30 and it takes him 1.5 hours to do the first 90 miles. Use this information to work out how long it will take and what time he'll get there. So if 1.5 hours, if I draw this out in a bar, 1.5 hours looks like that. So that is 3 halves of an hour. And that is equal to 90 miles. So that means that half an hour must be 30 miles each. So for a full hour, he must do 60 miles. So in 1 hour, he must do 60 miles. Or 60 miles per hour. So he's travelling at 60 miles per hour. Now, 240 miles, if he does 60 miles in 1 hour, 240 divided by 60 is 4. So it must take him 4 hours to get there. If he leaves at 9:30, then if we count on 4 hours from there, that'd be 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Now you can either write 1:30 as 13:30 in the 24-hour clock, or 1:30 PM. You must use the PM because it's in the afternoon, not the morning. Part B. Write down one assumption you made in your answer for part A. If your assumption is wrong, how would this affect your answer to part A? So, he kept a constant speed basically, so we're presuming that he stayed at 60 miles an hour all the way there. So, he kept a constant speed. Now, it says, how would it affect it? So, if his speed was lower, which it probably could be because he's going to get stuck in traffic jams and things like that, or maybe stop for a break, it would take him longer. You could also put that if his speed was increased, so if he stuck to 70 miles an hour, which is the speed limit for the motorway, it would take him less time. But either way, you've not got very much space there, so make sure you just keep that quite concise. Question 20. It says, describe fully the single transformation that maps P onto Q. So we're going from P to Q. That's really important. Now you'll notice there's 3 marks for this, so there are 3 things that you need to write down. Now straight away, you can already see that going from P to Q and going round in a rotating fashion. So the first mark is for writing rotation. Now we know it's a rotation, we now need to figure out what number of degrees in what direction. So you'll notice I put the arrow on already, that's clockwise. And it has gone 90 degrees, that's quarter of a turn, so 90 degrees. The last mark is for figuring out where the centre of rotation is. Now to do this, the best thing you can do is draw over your shape, so get a piece of tracing paper, draw over your shape, and then get your pen and just put it somewhere on the page where you think it is. So I'm going to put it just there, and then I'm going to rotate my shape and see if it goes on. So, my rotation thing isn't working, so we'll leave that just there, but if you keep on moving that around, then the centre of rotation is actually there. And just use tracing paper for that. So the centre of rotation is at 0, 0. So centre of rotation at 0, 0. That's really, really important. Or you could call that the origin. Question 21. The diagram shows the cross-section, so cross-section, we're only looking at the front of a 3D shape here, of a solid prism. So solid prism means that this shape is going all the way back like this. So we've not got the full shape, it's just showing you the front. The prism is made from metal, and the density of the metal is 8 grams per centimetres cubed. So we need to work out the volume, how many centimetres cubed there are in this shape. And then, every one of those centimetres cubed we can multiply by 8 to work out the mass, or the weight of this shape. So, to work out the volume of a prism, we do the cross-sectional area, so the area of the front bit, so all of this, multiplied by how far back it goes. Now at the minute, all of these are in centimetres. So this goes back, this shape goes back 2 metres. So the first thing I'm going to write down is that is 200 centimetres. That's your first mark. Then, I'm going to work out the area of the front. So I'm going to split it into 2 rectangles. This one is 2 by 7. So 2 times 7 is 14 centimetres squared. And this one is 7 all the way across, and that bit's 2. So this bit's 2 as well. So this bit here must be 5. And 5 times 2 is 10. So the area of the front is 14 plus 10, which is 24 centimetres squared. Once we've got the area of the front, we just times that by how far back it goes. So 24 times 200, it's a little bit easier than it looks. 24 times 2 is 48, and then add your 2 zeros, so multiply by 100, you're adding 2 zeros, 4,800 centimetres cubed. Now the last step is to multiply that by 8, because every single centimetre cubed of this weighs 8 grams. So we've got 4,800 centimetres cubed, each 8 grams each, so 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 0 is 0, 8 8 is 64, so 4 down carry 6, and 4 8 is 32, add your 6 is 38. So it's 38,400 and it's measured in grams. So 38,400 grams. Question 22. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals 3x plus 5 from -2 to 3. So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can either draw out a table, which is what a lot of teachers will teach you. So x and y, I always choose 1, 2 and 3 for my values of x and put those in. Or we can be a little bit more sensible and we can say that we're going to use y equals mx plus c. So m is the gradient and c is where it crosses the y-axis. So the 5 means it's going to cross the y-axis here, and a gradient of 3 means for every 1 across it goes 3 up. So 1 across, 3 up, 1 across, 3 up, 1 across, 3 up. Same going this way, 1 across, but we'll go 3 down this time. It's a straight line. 1 across, 3 down. And you've got a nice straight line with a ruler through there. Now, the fact that it says from -2 to 3, you don't need to put all the numbers from -2 to 3 in there. You just need to carry a line on past -2, so right down here, and past 3, so right up here. That's all it means. Part B, explain why the point 624 does not lie on the line y equals 3x plus 5. Well, this is the x coordinate, and this is the y coordinate. So, if I put the value of x into this, it should give me 24 if it's on the line. So to work out y, we do 3 lots of x, so 3 lots of 6, and add to that 5. Well, 3 lots of 6 is 18, and add 5 is 23. So if x was 6, then y would be 23. So it's not on the line. So 6, 23 is on the line, not 6, 24. Question 23. Ramesh throws a biased coin. The probability that the coin will land on heads is 0.37. Write down the probability that the coin will land on tails. Well, the coin can only either land on heads or tails, so they must add up to a whole one. So 1, take away 0.37. If you struggle with decimals, you can think of this as 100%, take away 37%, which would be 63%, or 0.63. Ramesh is going to throw the coin 500 times, work out an estimate for the number of times that the coin will land on heads. Well, the probability of it landing on heads is 0.37, so we times that by 500, or find 37% of 500. First I would multiply by 100, which is going to be 37, and times that by 5. So times by 100 first, you just left it times by 5, and 37 times by 5, 5 times 7 is 35, 5 down carry 3, 5 times 3 is 15, added 3 is 18, so 185 times. Question 24. Arwin buys a car for £4,000. The value of the car depreciates, which means goes down, by 10% each year. Work out the value of the car after 2 years. Well, 10% of 4,000 is £400. So if we knock that off, in the second year, it'll be worth 3,600. Then 10% of that is 360. So if we knock that off, again you can probably do that in your head, but if not, we'll do the proper subtraction method. 0 take 0 is 0. 0 take 6 we can't do, so we'll borrow one from there, make that to 10. 10 take 6 is 4. 5 take 3 is 2. 3 take 0 is 3. So £3,240. Question 25. Write the following numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. So these are all being multiplied by 10. Or 10 squared, or for example, so multiplying by 10 squared means multiply by 10 twice, so that would give us 3.8 for that first number. Multiplying by 10 to the minus 4, it means divide by 10 4 times, so that will go 1, 2, 3, 4, so 0.38. 380 is the same, and 0.38 times 10 to the minus 1 means divide by 10 once, so that's 0.038. So the smallest one is 0.38 times 10 to the minus 1. Then it's 0.38, which was 3,800 times 10 to the minus 4. Then it was 3.8, which is 0.038 times 10 to the power of 2. And then finally, 380. Question 26. There are 18 packets of sweets and 12 boxes of sweets in a carton. The mean number of sweets in all 30 packets and boxes is 14. And the mean number of sweets in the 18 packets is 10. Work out the mean number of sweets in all the boxes. Well, if there are 30 packets and boxes, and the average is 14, well, 30 times 14 is 420. So there must be 420 sweets altogether. In just the packets, 18 packets, so in 18 packets, the average is 10 in each packet. So 18 times 10 is 180. So in just the packets, there must be 180. So if we take those away from each other, we will get 240 sweets in each of the boxes. Now there are 12 boxes left because 18 of 30 is 12, and it also tells us there. So those 240 sweets are split amongst those 12 boxes, which would mean there's an average of 20 sweets per box. And that's the end of the test.